Hello guys and welcome back. Today I'm going to go through the Rainbow Six Siege heroes from the gold selection. So that's Rainbow Six Gold. It's 7 heroes if my memory serves me right. So let's go and have a look and pick our 6 gold. So these are the new operators that have been released with the newest update, and you can obtain them in orbs from the supply depot in the form of this one, Special Forces Orb. And the way to get them is obviously by this down here above the gold symbol. There's a key, and you collect these keys from the objectives, which is the weekly objectives. So from here you can obtain them, and they seem to be running one every week. So you'll have 4 of them every month. So I think they're great actually. I mean, it's a good idea for people to fill up. You get some platinum, you get some coin, and you also get these keys, quite a bit of them really, to be honest. And it's boilerplate stuff. You use some gold for refreshes, you log in, just by logging in you're rewarded, and then you play in the arena, you do the raid, and then donation in the guild. So I think they work out really well. But that's how you get the keys. So currently they're running them this way, so let's see for how long. I think the timeline for them were 24 days, I think. Let's have a look. No, there's no timer for them, so chances are that it's going to be running for a long time. But again guys, try and remember, it might just be for a month or 2 months and then they change it. I don't know if they're gonna keep it here indefinitely, so keep using those orbs. Anyway, back to the heroes. So let's change the filter and we pick our 6 gold and let's have a look. So here are the heroes, and I've gone through them a little bit. The main thing that I noticed is that they're very defensive. So if you go to squad perks, for instance, they have something called the preparation phase. If you have 2 members, all the R6 gold soldiers, they arrive into battle fully prepared, thus increasing bonuses, and they receive from cover by 100%. If you have 3 members, this is increased to 200%. If you use a full squad of 5 members, they start with an extra ability point and also have 200% cover bonus, and every hero starts the game with plus 20% ability charge. Okay, so that's pretty good. I mean, you can very quickly dominate the table, because once you have 1 ability point ready and a hero pops up, you should be having 2 or 3 abilities that you can pretty much trigger instantly. So that's a good benefit. But let's have a look at the heroes themselves. So in this case I'm looking at IQ, and I was looking through Spectre Scan. Scans a large cone around the current target, removing 75% ability charge from any enemy scanned, and granting 15% critical chance to all allies for 5 seconds. The scan can also interrupt the active abilities of any enemies being scanned and damaging them for 100% ability power. So right off the bat, it's a very good ability. I think it has to be timed. It can't just be on auto, because if you see an enemy about to do something, or you see a lane with a lot of enemies with a very high ability, just move it to the lane and trigger her, and she'll bring them back down to about 25%. They won't have it. And if they're casting an ability, obviously she'll interrupt it and damage them. So that's pretty convenient. I like the fact that we have a lot of heroes now that keep having silence, because it is difficult to control heroes like Fisher, and also Sarah Fisher when she comes, and Archer coming down the line, and Walker. So having something that can cancel them is very convenient, and now the developers are giving us many options. But yes, I like this hero for that fact. Her passive ability is the Electronics Detector, so whenever an enemy prepares an offensive ability, synchronize fire on them and with your closest ally for 3 seconds. So it's a passive ability. I think it's okay. I mean, it's always good. So especially if you have some injured heroes, enemy heroes hiding in the back, that's pretty cool. Then she will hunt them, so when they're about to trigger an ability, a heal or anything, or even offensive ability, she and an ally for 3 seconds will fire directly at that hero. So it's convenient, but it also means that they're going to be shooting all over the lane trying to pick soldiers. So even soldiers in the front rank being fully healed. So it might feel a bit of a waste, because they will be shooting everywhere, but it's convenient if you have heroes in the back of the enemy team and they decide to shoot at them. So that's always a good idea. But yeah, this is IQ. Overall, she seems pretty okay. Let's have a look at the next hero. The next one up is Kaid, and he uses, as an active ability, he uses the Artilla Electro Claw. So he throws an Artilla at the current target and one at their closest ally, sapping them for 20% ability power for each second for 5 seconds, and removing 20% ability charge each time. So it's good to be able to control a lane, because if you remember IQ, she removes and this guy does the same. So together, I feel like they can almost control a lane, because you pop one ability first, you have him as a backup. Oh, they're about to get back up. You trigger him and she brings them back down again. Sorry, he brings them back down again. So that they might be able to work together to control a lane. His passive ability is Fortress Defense. So if you look back to the fact that their squad perk was that they receive a lot while they're in cover, and Fortress Defense gives all the allies an extra minus 10% damage. So everything counts, right? So that's him. He's very, not too much to mention. It's fairly easy what he does. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is Thatcher, and he uses, as an active ability, he uses the EMP grenade. He throws an EMP grenade at the current target, exploding in a large radius. I love this, large radius, damaging targets for 75% ability power and silencing them for 4 seconds. Again, another hero with silence, large radius, and he does some damage. So he's a little bit like a Costa. You throw the grenade, you silence enemies, so nothing really special with the grenade. But I do like his passive, because close quarter combat techniques. He deals an additional 50% ability power with each shot. However, it's reduced by 5% ability power for each meter from the target. So I am assuming he would be probably a tank or a frontliner. So he'd be taking the damage, but also delivering quite a bit. So I am interested in trying him up, especially when he reaches a little bit higher ranks, just to see how he works. But I like the fact that he has that ability, like the passive ability, that he does more damage the closer he is. It's a little bit like Vivian, who receives extra damage for targets that are burning with her chemical compound when she shoots with the shotgun. So I feel like this could be nice. And then you also have Weaver, who does more damage depending on if he fires from further back. So it's good. Now they have someone who has to be up front. So I know in some maps you can put him in cover very close up. I think it's usually the bottom rank, and sometimes it's a top, not the bottom rank, the bottom lane and the top lane. So you could position the heroes, or this one, so he's behind cover. So he receives 200% defensive, like extra cover. And then obviously if you run with Kaid, you'll be having an additional 10% less damage. And then this guy is going to pump out a lot of damage. So it is possible. So far, the heroes I've mentioned, most of them seem to have silence or interrupt. So, we kind of know where the R6 gold are going down. They're having a lot of sustain to survive, and they're going to make sure that your team don't get to pop off any abilities. And if you do, you take damage. So there's always that. Next one up. The next one up is Jing. So she will throw something called the Candela. So she throws a Candela grenade at the current target, exploding in a large radius. Again, guys, large radius, I love it. So how to use this is all about position. Try and hit them, move the hero down to the middle lane, throw the grenade. You should be hitting everybody in a plus, the one above the target, beneath the target, in front of the target. Sorry, the one in the front target, obviously not, but if there's someone behind it, you should be able to hit 4 people with the grenade like that. You can't hit anyone diagonally though. So if you hit someone in the middle, it won't hit the people in the front of the lane or the back of the lane above and below. But it will hit the people in the middle, the top middle, the bottom middle, and behind the middle, if you do it like that. Anyway, enough about that. Damaging the target for 100% ability power, and also blinding any enemies that are targeting Yang, and dazing any others. So even if she blinds, so she will blind everyone that is targeting her, but she will also spread daze to all the other enemy heroes for 5 seconds. So that's good. That's another control effect. So it's not as close to being silenced, but it's still another way to annoy the enemy. Because you keep silencing him, you keep interrupting his spell, like his abilities, and now here you are causing blind and dazing all the other enemies. So yeah, I like that. And then we have Ying's passive, which is eyepieces and earplugs. So that's her passive ability, which is equip all allies with special eyepieces and earplugs, making them immune to blind. So as I said, I mean, this is a really good thing because it means that you'll be able to be immune, obviously, as the word says. And there are more and more heroes in the ranked that you go up that keep having blind effects. So I like the fact that you give your whole team immunity and it just continues like it's nothing. It basically means that the enemy team just used an ability that causes blind, but you negate it, which is again a very good benefit. So it seems like the R6 gold have a lot of potential when it comes to ignoring the enemy, causing them damage, preventing them from casting, and at the same time, well, she does blind towards them and dazing them, but also making everybody else immune. So it seems like, yeah, if you get them high enough, I think this could be a very competitive team. And then let's have a look at the next one. So the next one up is Lion, and he uses sonar scan. Scan the battlefield with the EE-1D drone, routing all enemies in place for 10 seconds and shielding all allies for 85% ability power per enemy that targets them. So this means that if there's 2 enemies, they get 85% ability power times 2, which is 170. So the more people targeting, that person receives more of a shield. The routing aspect is nice, I guess. I don't really know how that would work or why routing is a good thing. But as I said, I mean, there are other combos, for instance, where you use anything that gets rooted. Again, I'm looking back at Gridlock, for instance, who, you know, she just keeps getting a shield for tanking. So technically, if you put him behind her, she throws the stinger, she gets the shield up, he activates shortly after. When her shield goes down, she gets a massive shield, and then he also grants her a shield. So, you know, it's like it's going to be a really big team. So him, I might actually try to level up when it becomes available, aside from the normal boxes, that the orbs that we keep buying. Currently, we don't know where else to farm them in terms of rival event, arena events, or if it's going to be a campaign. At the moment, we don't know much about them. They're here, but we don't know how to, you know, bring the stars up. Sorry about that. Let's go back to the hero. So his passive ability is the EE-1D. So the EE-1D is deployed for the entire battle, picking up any movement on the battlefield. So after deployment, whenever an enemy moves, they are pinged and all allies will synchronize fire on them for 5 seconds. Now this is really good, because if you play with a team, for instance, that uses Fear or Vivian, who uses her fire, you shoot it, that guy runs for his life, or you play with Kelso, who throws her bat drones, people will just keep running. And again, when people run, they will be shot at. So, you know, it's a very funny thing. So I think you can do a lot of funny stuff with them. And I'm looking forward to get him up, because obviously I want to try this out now, because it seems like you can do a lot of funny things with these heroes if you do it that way. But also, sometimes when you play the game, you'll see the heroes swapping places, and then one of them will usually be very injured. I'm hoping that the game developers decide that it will trigger at that enemy first that tries to run away to the bottom or change with another hero, so you all 5 shoot at that one. But I won't find that out until I fully unlock him, which I haven't done yet, but I'm looking forward to trying to do it. So the second hero is Cali, and Cali uses the LV explosive lance. She fires an LV explosive lance round at the current target. The round explodes in a small radius, damaging enemies hit for 200% ability power. Damn, that's a lot. 200% ability power. And interrupting any activity abilities. Okay, I mean, are you guys seeing a theme? Interrupting, silence, you know, I'm just saying. If the target is in cover, the round explodes and becomes a large radius instead. So, yes. Now we have the option that, okay, you see someone in cover. Usually the front guy in the top lane is never in cover, but the middle lane and maybe the bottom lane, they're in cover. So, you know, just send Cali there, shoots the round, see things get destroyed. His the passive ability is the one that I like as well, because he permanently receives plus 50% critical power. Critical bullet will execute enemies under 25% health. Okay guys, this is very kind of the developers. 25% health? I mean, that's very generous to be able to execute someone. So I kind of feel like Cali is also going to be one of those heroes that people should try and rank up when they have the option, because anything that execute is amazing. So, and this is 25%. That's really good. So I'm looking forward to trying him as well. I do like his active ability because 200% ability power is a lot of damage. So if you add him with Anna, for instance, he would be quite, you know, strong. He would be doing 300% ability power damage instead, and also interruptive ability. So again, if you have a whole team of R6 gold, I think you'll be stopping the enemy pretty much all the time. So that seems to be their strong suit, and they also seem like if they're hiding behind cover, they'll be very difficult to sort of get out. So just keep that in mind, that I think we're gonna see a lot of these guys later on. The last one up is called Warden. So he uses a nitro cell. He throws a nitro cell at the current target, exploding in a large radius, keyword large radius, and damaging any enemies hit for 100% ability powers, and any allies targeting a damaged enemy gain plus 100% armor penetration and a 10% critical chance for 10 seconds. That's very generous. 10 seconds is a really long time in order to have armor penetration. So that's really good. I like that fact, that it helps. Something that I thought about is that, for instance, if you shot this at a tank, so you should probably be using this one to shoot towards tank, like you have Montague, or you have Drago, or you have any hero really with a shield or a lot of armor. Using him to throw the nitro cell at them is going to negate a lot of that armor. And then if you move down, he has something called Glance Smart Glasses, which is his passive ability. If blinded, he will immediately remove and grant 50% weapon power to all allies for 5 seconds, and all will synchronize on the enemy that applied it for the duration. I've noticed that a lot of the passive abilities, and even one active ability from the R6 Gold, uses the word synchronize fire. So I'm a little bit worried that they're going to be spending so much ammunition because they're going to be shooting left and right. So I don't know if they will sort of negate each other at some point. But as I said, once I unlock them, I am going to do a little bit of gameplay to see how it works. But I do think the nitro cell could be a really good thing, because it means you control who you shoot at. It's a large radius, and you pretty much destroy any armor they used to have because you drop it down. So I like that fact. And with the critical chance, it's also going to increase the ability that Cali has, because he has critical power. So critical bullets will execute. So, you know, every bit counts, right? But that's how I feel about the heroes. I think they're a really, really cool new bunch, because if you remember, R6 Red is all about negating the control effect, that people can't cause any effect on them, and if they do, they just shrug it off if they're more than enough. If you play the R6 Blue, for instance, you'll be having a lot of healing to survivability. But I do feel that R6 Gold is going to be the new R6 Blue. That's just my thought, because I do believe that they have a lot of interesting... The squad perks itself speaks for itself, so to say. I mean, you can be able to, with an extra ability authorization point and everyone receiving an extra 20% ability charge, you should be able to do a lot of damage. And if you play with a lion, everybody keeps a lot of shields, and then it's all about picking, you know, the right heroes for the job. So I'm sure lion is going to be part of the mix. I do believe that Jing might be in it. Thatcher most likely. I'm not too sure about Kaid. IQ definitely. And then of course Cali with the execute. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. And I do think that these heroes work really well together. I'm sure some of the heroes you can probably take out and put into other teams just to use. And the main thing they do is silence. So silence, interruption, and dazing. So yeah, I really feel like this is a good idea. So if you guys have some feedback, feel free to just let me know and write in the comments, and I'll try and reply to you guys if there's anything you want me to talk about further about these heroes, or any other heroes you'd like me to go a little bit in depth. But yeah, just give me a shout out and I give it a look. Good luck guys, and have fun.